In the vast expanse of the Milky Way, the Galactic Empire reigned supreme. For millennia, they had conquered and subjugated countless worlds, bringing them under their iron-fisted rule. Their hunger for power and resources knew no bounds, driving them to explore ever further into the unknown reaches of space. It was on a routine scouting mission that the Empire's ships first detected the faint signals emanating from a small blue planet in a distant arm of the galaxy. The planet, third from its yellow sun, showed signs of intelligent life and developing technology. The Empire's interest was piqued. Commander Zaxlor, a seasoned veteran of countless conquests, stood on the bridge of the Imperial flagship Dominion. His tentacles twitched with excitement as he studied the holographic display of the newly discovered world. "Fascinating," he muttered, his multifaceted eyes gleaming. "What do our initial scans reveal?" A junior officer, nervously shuffling his 4 feet, approached with a datapad. "Sir, the planet appears to be teeming with life. We've detected large population centers, primitive space exploration attempts, and signs of recent technological advancements." Zaxlor's mouth tentacles curled into what passed for a smile in his species. "Excellent. They're ripe for conquest. What of their defenses?" The officer hesitated before responding. "That's the curious thing, sir. Their military technology seems primitive by our standards. They still rely heavily on combustion-based weapons and have only the barest understanding of energy shields." This news sent a ripple of excitement through the bridge crew. Easy conquests were rare these days, with most spacefaring races putting up significant resistance. The Empire had grown complacent, used to hard-fought victories. The prospect of an easy win was enticing. "Send in the stealth probes," Zaxlor ordered. "I want a complete analysis of their civilization, technology, and resources. Leave no stone unturned." For weeks, the Empire's most advanced spy drones infiltrated Earth's atmosphere. They scanned cities, analyzed communications, and even abducted a few humans for study. The more they learned, the more confident they became in their ability to conquer this world. Back on the Dominion, Zaxlor presented his findings to the Imperial Council via holographic transmission. The room was filled with the flickering images of the Empire's most powerful leaders, each from a different conquered species. "Esteemed Council," Zaxlor began, his voice filled with barely contained glee, "I present to you our next conquest, a planet called Earth." He proceeded to detail the planet's resources: vast oceans, diverse ecosystems, and an abundance of rare minerals. The council members listened with growing interest as Zaxlor described the humans' technology level and their fractured global political system. "They are divided," he explained, fighting amongst themselves over trivial matters. "Their most powerful weapons could barely scratch our ship's paint. Yet, they show potential. Their rate of technological advancement is impressive for such a young species." One of the council members, a being of pure energy contained within a crystalline structure, spoke up. "Could they pose a threat if left unchecked?" Zaxlor considered this for a moment. "Potentially, yes. In a few centuries, they might develop technology to rival ours. But now, they are ripe for the taking." The council deliberated, their varied forms shifting and pulsing as they communicated in ways incomprehensible to most species. Finally, the Supreme Overlord, a massive, multi-limbed creature with eyes that glowed like dying stars, rendered the verdict. "Very well, Commander Zaxlor. You have the Council's blessing. Prepare your fleet. Earth will be the latest jewel in our Empire's crown." Zaxlor bowed low, his tentacles quivering with anticipation. As the holographic images faded, he turned to his crew, his voice booming with authority. "You heard the Council. Prepare for invasion. We shall descend upon this Earth and show these humans the might of the Galactic Empire. They will learn to serve, as all others have before them." Little did Zaxlor and the mighty Galactic Empire know that their confidence was misplaced. The humans of Earth, with their resourcefulness, determination, and a secret weapon beyond the Empire's wildest imagination, were about to teach the galaxy a lesson it would never forget. As the Imperial fleet began its journey towards Earth, the fate of humanity, and indeed, the entire galaxy, hung in the balance. The stage was set for a confrontation that would shake the very foundations of the Empire and redefine the notion of power in the cosmos. The day Earth changed forever started like any other. People went about their lives, unaware of the looming threat from the stars. In New York, London, Beijing, and countless other cities, the rhythm of daily life pulsed on, blissfully ignorant of the impending chaos. It was a clear, sunny afternoon when the massive alien spaceship appeared in Earth's orbit. At first, only a few satellites detected its presence. Within minutes, every space agency on the planet was buzzing with frantic activity. At NASA's Mission Control, Dr. Sarah Chen stared at her computer screen in disbelief. "This can't be right," she muttered, furiously typing commands to verify the data. But there was no mistake. An object larger than anything humanity had ever built was hovering just beyond the moon's orbit. As news of the alien presence spread, panic gripped the world. Streets filled with people looking up at the sky, even though the ship was not visible to the naked eye. Governments scrambled to respond, and emergency meetings were called in every capital. In Washington, D.C., President Emily Harris sat in the Situation Room, surrounded by her top advisors. The tension in the air was thick enough to cut with a knife. "Madam President," General Thompson began, his voice grave, "we've tried hailing the alien ship on all frequencies. So far, no response." President Harris nodded, her face a mask of calm despite the turmoil in her gut. "What about our defensive capabilities?" The general's expression darkened. "I'm afraid our most powerful weapons would be like throwing pebbles at a tank. We're completely outmatched." Just as the words left his mouth, every screen in the room flickered to life. The alien transmission had begun. The being on the screen was unlike anything they had ever seen. Commander Zaxlor's tentacled face filled the display, his multifaceted eyes gleaming with an unsettling intelligence. "People of Earth," the alien's voice boomed, somehow translated into perfect English, "I am Commander Zaxlor of the Galactic Empire. Your planet has been chosen to join our glorious realm. Resistance is futile. Surrender now, and your transition into the Empire will be relatively painless." The room erupted into chaos as advisors shouted over each other, trying to make sense of the situation. President Harris raised her hand, silencing the room. "We need to buy time," she said firmly. "General, is there any way we can stall them?" Before the general could respond, Zaxlor's voice filled the room again. "You have one Earth rotation to prepare your leaders for negotiation. We will arrive at these coordinates." A series of numbers flashed across the screen. As the transmission cut off, the gravity of the situation sank in. Humanity was facing an ultimatum from a vastly superior force. Around the world, similar scenes played out in government offices and military installations. In Beijing, Premier Lai Wei called an emergency meeting of the Politburo. In Moscow, President Volkov mobilized the armed forces. The European Union convened an emergency session in Brussels. But it was in an underground facility, hidden deep in the Rocky Mountains, that the seeds of hope were being sown. Dr. Alan Turing II, great-grandson of the famous computer scientist, worked feverishly with his team on a secret project that might just save humanity. "We're running out of time," Dr. Turing muttered, his fingers flying over the keyboard. The room was filled with humming machines and glowing screens, displaying data that would be incomprehensible to most. His colleague, Dr. Yuki Tanaka, looked up from her own work. "The quantum entanglement is stable, Alan. If we can just solve the power distribution problem." Their work was interrupted by the facility's director, a stern woman named Dr. Helena Frost. "We've received word," she announced, her voice tight with tension. "World leaders are gathering in Geneva. They're going to meet the alien envoy." The scientists exchanged worried glances. They knew their project was humanity's best hope, But it wasn't ready. Not yet. As the clock ticked down to the meeting that would decide Earth's fate, humans around the world huddled around televisions and computer screens. Families held each other close, and strangers found comfort in shared fear and hope. In Geneva, a convoy of black vehicles wound its way through the streets, carrying the most powerful people on Earth to a meeting that would shape the future of humanity. Among them, President Harris steeled herself for the confrontation ahead. Little did the aliens know, humanity had a few surprises up its sleeve. The question was, would it be enough to save Earth from the Galactic Empire's grasp? Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility known only to a select few, humanity's last hope was taking shape. The secret project, codenamed Prometheus, had been in development for years, hidden from the public eye, and even most government officials. Dr. Alan Turing II wiped sweat from his brow as he stared at the pulsing core of the machine before him. It was a marvel of human ingenuity, a fusion of technologies so advanced that most would consider them impossible. Status report, Dr. Helena Frost demanded, striding into the room with purpose. Dr. Yuki Tanaka looked up from her console. The AI is stable, and quantum entanglement is holding at 99.7% efficiency. We're pushing the boundaries of physics here, Helena. Dr. Frost nodded, her eyes fixed on the swirling energy contained within the machine's core. And the power output? Off the charts, Dr. Turing replied, a hint of awe in his voice. We're tapping into energy levels that make nuclear reactions look like firecrackers. The machine before them was humanity's secret weapon. It combined artificial intelligence more advanced than anything publicly known, quantum computing on a scale previously thought impossible, and a power source that defied conventional understanding of physics. Dr. Frost allowed herself a small smile. Good, because we're going to need every ounce of that power. The alien envoy has landed in Geneva. The scientists exchanged worried glances. They knew their work might be the only thing standing between humanity and subjugation. Meanwhile, in Geneva, the world's leaders gathered in a heavily guarded conference center. The tension in the air was palpable as they awaited the arrival of the alien representative. President Emily Harris of the United States sat at the head of the table, flanked by Premier Lai Wei of China and President Volkov of Russia. European leaders, African Union representatives, and delegates from every corner of the globe filled the room. The doors swung open, and a hush fell over the assembly. Commander Zaxlor entered, his tentacles writhing with barely contained excitement. Two heavily armed guards flanked him, their alien weapons humming with energy. Greetings, leaders of Earth, Zaxlor's voice boomed, the translation device around his neck converting his alien speech to multiple Earth languages simultaneously. I trust you've had time to consider your limited options. President Harris stood, her face a mask of calm determination. Commander Zaxlor, we've gathered here to discuss the terms of your proposal. Zaxlor's eyes gleamed with amusement. Proposal? My dear human, you misunderstand. This is not a negotiation. You will surrender your world to the Galactic Empire, or we will take it by force. The choice is simply how much destruction you wish to endure in the process. A murmur of anger and fear rippled through the assembled leaders. Premier Lai Wei spoke up, his voice sharp. And if we refuse? The alien commander's mouth tentacles curled into what might have been a smile. Then your cities will burn, your oceans will boil, and your species will be nothing more than a footnote in the Empire's glorious history. As the confrontation in Geneva unfolded, Dr. Frost received an urgent communication back at the Prometheus facility. Ma'am, a young technician reported, we're detecting massive energy buildup in Earth's orbit. The alien fleet, they're charging weapons. Dr. Frost's eyes widened. They're not waiting for an answer. Turing, Tanaka, we need Prometheus online now. The scientists sprang into action, their fingers flying over controls as they initiated the startup sequence. The machine's core pulsed with increasing intensity, the air around it shimmering with barely contained power. AI is online and processing at unprecedented speeds, Dr. Tanaka reported. Quantum field is stable and expanding, Dr. Turing added, his voice tense with concentration. Dr. Frost grabbed a secure communication device. This is Frost. Patch me through to President Harris. Authorization code. Omega Zulu 9er. In Geneva, President Harris felt her secure phone vibrate. Excusing herself from the increasingly heated discussion, she stepped aside to take the call. Madam President, Dr. Frost's voice came through clearly despite the encryption. Prometheus is ready. We await your command. President Harris took a deep breath, the weight of the world on her shoulders. She looked at Zaxlor, still gloating over the assembled leaders, then at her fellow humans, their faces a mix of fear and defiance. She spoke quietly but firmly into the phone. Dr. Frost, you have a go. May God help us all. As she ended the call, President Harris straightened her jacket and walked back to the table. Her eyes met Zaxlor's alien gaze. Commander, she said, her voice ringing out clear and strong. I'm afraid we have a counteroffer for you. In that moment, deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, Dr. Frost gave the final command. Initiate Prometheus. The machine roared to life, its power reaching out across the globe and beyond, ready to show the Galactic Empire that humanity was not to be underestimated. The fate of Earth hung in the balance as Prometheus, humanity's secret weapon, prepared to face the might of an intergalactic empire. As Project Prometheus hummed to life deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, its effects rippled across the globe. In Geneva, the air crackled with an unseen energy, causing the alien devices to spark and sputter. Commander Zaxlor's tentacles twitched in confusion. What trickery is this? He demanded, his translator struggling to keep up with his agitated speech. President Harris stood tall, her eyes gleaming with a newfound confidence. This, Commander, is our response to your ultimatum. We have no intention of surrendering. Suddenly, every screen in the room flickered to life, displaying a unified global broadcast. Dr. Helena Frost's face appeared, her expression stern and determined. People of Earth and our visitors, she began, her voice echoing in homes and spaceships alike. I am Dr. Helena Frost, director of Project Prometheus. For years, we have worked in secret, preparing for this very moment. In orbit, the alien fleet's systems began to malfunction. Weapon systems powered down, shields flickered, and communication arrays fell silent. Panic spread through the ranks of the Galactic Empire's forces as they found themselves suddenly vulnerable. Back in Geneva, Zaxlor's composure crumbled. Impossible, he sputtered, his alien eyes wide with disbelief. Your primitive technology couldn't possibly. Oh, but it can, President Harris interrupted, a small smile playing on her lips. Dr. Frost, please continue. On screens across the world, Dr. Frost explained, Project Prometheus combines advanced artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and energy manipulation beyond anything previously thought possible. With it, we can neutralize your technology, access your systems, and, if necessary, mount a defense that would make any invasion attempt inadvisable. In the Prometheus facility, Dr. Turing and Dr. Tanaka worked feverishly at their consoles, directing the AI to probe the alien fleet's weaknesses. We're in, Dr. Tanaka announced, her fingers flying over the keyboard. I've got access to their main computer systems. Dr. Turing nodded, his eyes never leaving his own screen. Quantum field is stable. We can maintain this state indefinitely. Back in Geneva, President Harris addressed the stunned alien commander. Now, Zaxlor, let's discuss those terms again, shall we? But Zaxlor was no longer listening. His eyes were fixed on a small device on his wrist, which was now projecting a holographic display of his fleet's status. Ships were going dark, weapons systems failing, and distress calls flooding in from every vessel. This is impossible, he muttered, his earlier bravado evaporating. President Harris stepped closer, her voice low but firm. Not impossible, Commander. Just highly improbable. Much like your chances of successfully invading Earth. She turned to address the room at large, her voice ringing with authority. To the Galactic Empire and any other forces that might be watching, let this serve as Earth's first and only warning. We are not defenseless. We are not primitive. And we are not your subjects. Dr. Frost's voice joined in from the broadcast. Our technology can render your weapons useless, your ships inoperable, and your supposed advantages null and void. We have no desire for conflict, but make no mistake, we will defend ourselves with every means at our disposal. In orbit, the captains of the alien fleet watched in horror as their mighty warships drifted powerless in space. Emergency systems kicked in, providing life support, but little else functioned. On Earth, cheers erupted in streets around the world as people realized the alien threat had been neutralized. Humanity had stood its ground against an intergalactic superpower, and won. Commander Zaxlor, his arrogance shattered, slumped in his chair. What are your terms? He asked weakly. President Harris exchanged glances with the other world leaders before responding. First, you will withdraw your fleet immediately. Then we will discuss establishing peaceful relations, as equals. As Zaxlor nodded in defeated agreement, Dr. Frost's voice came through one last time. Remember this day, Earth. Remember what we can achieve when we work together. The stars are no longer a distant dream. They are our destiny. With Prometheus watching over them, humanity had taken its first steps onto the galactic stage. The Galactic Empire's plans lay in ruins, and a new chapter in Earth's history was about to begin. The warning had been delivered, loud and clear. Humanity was not to be trifled with. The news of Earth's unexpected resistance spread through the Galactic Empire like wildfire. On the imperial capital world of Zorth Prime, the ruling council gathered in an emergency session. The vast chamber, with its soaring ceilings and ornate decorations from 1,000 conquered worlds, buzzed with tension and disbelief. Supreme Overlord Krax, a being of immense size and even greater ego, sat atop his floating throne. His numerous eyes, each a different color, scanned the faces of his advisors. Explain to me, he growled, his voice echoing through the chamber, how a tiny backwater planet has brought our mighty fleet to its knees. Commander Zaxlor, recently returned from his humiliating defeat at Earth, stepped forward. His tentacles drooped with shame as he recounted the events. The humans, he began, his voice quavering. They have technology beyond anything we've encountered. They called it Project Prometheus. It disabled our ships, penetrated our most secure systems, and left us helpless. Murmurs of disbelief and fear rippled through the assembled aliens. Species from across the galaxy, each representing a world conquered by the Empire, exchanged worried glances. Admiral Ixie, a veteran of countless campaigns, spoke up. Her crystalline form shimmered with agitation. Impossible. No primitive world could develop such technology without our knowledge. And yet, countered Zaxlor, they did. We underestimated them, to our great cost. As the council debated, reports flooded in from across the Empire. Other worlds, emboldened by Earth's resistance, were beginning to question imperial rule. The once mighty Empire suddenly found itself on shaky ground. Supreme Overlord Krax's eyes narrowed. Enough. We must decide on a course of action. Our response to this, Earth, will determine the future of our empire. The council chamber erupted into chaos as various factions argued their positions. We must crush them, roared General Blacks, his armored exoskeleton clanking as he pounded the table. Show the galaxy what happens to those who defy us. Foolishness, hissed diplomat Celia, her serpentine body coiling with tension. A direct assault would be suicide. We must negotiate, learn their secrets. As the debate raged, a quiet voice cut through the noise. It belonged to Scientist First Class Omen, a small, unassuming alien with an oversized brain. Perhaps, he suggested, we should study this Prometheus technology. If we could replicate it. The chamber fell silent as the implications sank in. Supreme Overlord Krax leaned forward, suddenly interested. Explain, Scientist Omen. Omen's large eyes blinked rapidly as he continued. If we could understand and harness this technology, we could not only neutralize Earth's advantage, but also strengthen our hold on the Empire. We could enter a new age of expansion and power. The idea sent ripples of excitement through the Council. However, Admiral Ixi was quick to point out the flaw in the plan. And how do you propose we study this technology when we can't even approach their planet without our ships shutting down? The Council fell into contemplative silence. The Empire, for the first time in millennia, found itself at a crossroads. Their choices now would shape the future of galactic politics. Supreme Overlord Krax's voice rumbled through the chamber. We find ourselves in an unprecedented situation. Our choices are clear. We can attempt to destroy this upstart world and risk everything. We can sue for peace and appear weak before our subjects, or we can find a way to turn this situation to our advantage. He paused, his many eyes sweeping across the assembled council members. I will not make this decision alone. The stakes are too high. We will put it to a vote. As the council prepared to cast their votes, tension filled the air. The outcome would determine not just the fate of Earth, but the future of the entire galactic empire. Across the galaxy, on planets long subjugated by the Empire, whispers of hope began to spread. The news of a small blue planet that had stood up to their oppressors inspired dreams of freedom and resistance. Meanwhile, on Earth, humanity stood united and vigilant. They knew the Empire's next move could come at any moment. But with Prometheus watching over them, and the world's brightest minds working tirelessly to advance their newfound technology, they faced the future not with fear, but with determination. The galaxy held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next in this unexpected standoff between a mighty empire and a small planet that refused to bow down. As the Galactic Empire grappled with its internal conflicts, Earth seized the opportunity to secure its position in the cosmos. The activation of Project Prometheus had not only defended the planet, but had also catapulted humanity into a new era of technological advancement and interstellar politics. In the months following the confrontation, Earth's leaders worked tirelessly to unite the planet under a common cause. Old rivalries were set aside as nations pooled their resources and knowledge. The United Earth Council was formed, with representatives from every country working together to guide humanity's future among the stars. Dr. Helena Frost, now hailed as a hero worldwide, led the charge in expanding and refining the Prometheus technology. We've only scratched the surface of what's possible, she announced at a global conference. With continued research and development, we can unlock the secrets of the universe. As news of Earth's technological leap spread across the galaxy, other alien civilizations took notice. Many, long oppressed by the Galactic Empire, saw an opportunity for change. The Andromedans, a peaceful race of energy beings, were the first to reach out. Their ambassador, a shimmering form of pure light, appeared before the United Earth Council. People of Earth, the aliens' thoughts resonated in the minds of those present. We have watched your struggle against the Empire with great interest. We believe an alliance between our peoples could benefit us all. Similar overtures came from the Regelian Confederation, the Betelgeusian Hive, and dozens of other spacefaring civilizations. Earth, once considered a backwater planet, was quickly becoming a hub of galactic diplomacy. President Emily Harris, now serving as Earth's chief diplomat, worked tirelessly to navigate these new relationships. We must proceed with caution, she advised the Council. But we must also seize this opportunity to build a better future for all sentient beings. Meanwhile, the scientific community was making unprecedented breakthroughs. Dr. Alan Turing IA and his team had managed to reverse engineer some of the alien technology left behind by the Empire's retreat. Combined with the power of Prometheus, these advancements opened up new frontiers in space exploration. We've developed a prototype faster than light drive, Dr. Turing announced at a press conference, his eyes gleaming with excitement. Within a year, we'll be ready for our first expedition beyond our solar system. The news electrified the world. Volunteers from every nation signed up for the chance to be part of humanity's first interstellar mission. The construction of Earth's first deep space vessel, appropriately named HMS Prometheus, began in orbit. As humanity looked to the stars with newfound confidence, they didn't forget the lessons of their recent past. Defense remained a top priority. The Prometheus Shield, a global protection system, was established to safeguard Earth against any future threats. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, leading the defense initiative, explained its importance. We must remain vigilant. The Empire may be silent for now, but we cannot assume they've given up their ambitions. Indeed, the Galactic Empire's influence was waning. Reports from across the galaxy spoke of rebellions on occupied worlds, inspired by Earth's example. The once mighty empire found itself fighting on multiple fronts, struggling to maintain control. Earth used its new influence wisely. Instead of seeking revenge or domination, humanity worked to establish a galactic alliance based on mutual respect and cooperation. The Terran Accords were drafted, outlining principles of peaceful coexistence and shared progress among species. As the first anniversary of the Empire's retreat approached, Earth hosted an unprecedented gathering. Representatives from hundreds of alien civilizations arrived to discuss the future of galactic relations. The image of these diverse beings, from crystalline entities to gaseous intelligences, all convening peacefully on Earth, was broadcast across the cosmos. President Harris, addressing this historic assembly, spoke words that would be remembered for generations. A year ago, we stood alone against an empire that thought us weak. Today, we stand united with friends from across the stars. Let this be the dawn of a new age, an age of exploration, cooperation, and peace. As her words echoed through the assembly hall and across the galaxy, it was clear that humanity had not just survived. It had thrived. Earth, once a tiny blue marble in the vast cosmic ocean, had become a beacon of hope for oppressed civilizations everywhere. The stars, once so distant and unreachable, now beckoned to humanity. And humanity, armed with its ingenuity, its technology, and its newfound allies, was ready to answer that call. 5 years had passed since Earth's defiance against the Galactic Empire. The galaxy had transformed, and at the center of this change stood humanity, no longer a primitive species, but a driving force in shaping a new galactic order. The once mighty Galactic Empire had crumbled. Its last strongholds fell not to military might, but to the spread of ideas. Inspired by Earth's example, world after world had risen up, casting off the chains of imperial rule. The era of tyranny was over. On the former imperial capital of Zorth Prime, a historic gathering took place. Representatives from thousands of worlds converged to form the Galactic Confederation, a new alliance based on principles of freedom, cooperation, and mutual respect. President Emily Harris, now serving her final year as Earth's leader, stood before the assembled delegates. Her hair had grayed, but her eyes still shone with the same determination that had faced down the Empire years ago. Friends, allies, fellow sentients, she began, her voice carrying across the vast chamber. Today, we turn the page on a dark chapter of our shared history. Together, we will write a new story, one of unity, progress, and hope. The chamber erupted in cheers, a cacophony of sounds from myriad species united in purpose. As the applause died down, a familiar face took the stage. Supreme Overlord Krax, the former leader of the Empire, now humbled and aged. I stand before you, Krax rumbled, his many eyes downcast, to formally dissolve what remains of the Galactic Empire. We seek not forgiveness, but a chance to make amends and join this new galactic community as equals. The gesture was symbolic, but powerful. It marked the final end of the old order and the birth of a new era. Back on Earth, humanity continued to push the boundaries of science and exploration. The Prometheus project, under the continued guidance of Dr. Helena Frost, had spawned countless technological marvels. Faster than light travel was now commonplace, and human colonies dotted nearby star systems. Dr. Alan Turing II, leading a team of human and alien scientists, made a groundbreaking announcement from the new Harvard University on Mars. "We've done it," he declared, his holographic image broadcast across human space. "We've unlocked the secret of manipulating gravity itself. The possibilities are endless, from clean, unlimited energy to revolutionary space travel." This discovery sent shockwaves through the scientific community. It promised to revolutionize everything from daily life to the very nature of space exploration. Yet, humanity's greatest contribution to the galaxy wasn't just technological. It was their unique blend of creativity, adaptability, and indomitable spirit that left the biggest mark. On a space station orbiting Jupiter, Dr. Yuki Tanaka hosted the first galactic cultural exchange. Artistic performances from 100 worlds mesmerized audiences. A Rigelian opera singer's crystalline voice harmonized with a human core. Andromeda energy beings danced with human ballet dancers in a display of light and motion that defied description. "This is the true power of humanity," Dr. Tanaka explained to a group of alien journalists. "Not our weapons or our science, but our ability to bring people together, to find common ground in our differences." As humanity's influence spread, so did their values. Worlds that had known only oppression for millennia now embraced concepts like democracy and individual rights. The Galactic Confederation, with significant input from Earth, established laws protecting sentient rights across known space. Education became a priority. The Great Library of Alexandria was reborn as a galactic institution, collecting and sharing knowledge from every corner of the known universe. Billions of beings, both human and alien, accessed its vast databanks daily, learning and growing together. Exploration continued at an unprecedented pace. The HMS Prometheus I, captained by Ada Chen, granddaughter of Dr. Sarah Chen, who first detected the alien ship years ago, set out on a historic mission to breach the galactic barrier and venture into the unknown. As the ship prepared to make the jump, Captain Chen addressed her crew, a mix of humans and aliens working in perfect harmony. "We go forth not as conquerors, but as explorers and peacekeepers. We carry with us the hopes and dreams of countless worlds. Let us make them proud." With a flash of light, the ship disappeared into the cosmic unknown, carrying the spirit of humanity and its allies to new frontiers. Back on Earth, in the quiet of her office, President Harris looked out at the night sky. The stars no longer seemed distant and cold, but full of life and possibility. Humanity had not just survived, it had thrived, bringing hope and change to a galaxy that desperately needed both. As she watched a shooting star streak across the sky, Harris smiled. The future was bright, and humanity was ready to face whatever challenges it might bring, together with their new galactic family.